Well, you take some popcorn, you put it in the pan, and you shake it around just as fast as you can. Put in some salt, and you pour on some oil, and you wait for it all to begin to boil. What do you got? You've got the poppity popcorn. Oh, yeah. You got the poppity popcorn. Oh, yeah. Now little Jimmy was all alone 'cause his mother left him there at home. She went off to the grocery store to buy some more popcorn. Little Jimmy didn't know what to do, so he decided to call in his dog Spot. He said, "Here, Spot," and Spot said, "Ruff," 'cause he was just a dog. He said, "Stand there, Spot," and he climbed up onto Spot's back, up onto the shelf, and opened up the top cupboard door where there were 2 3-pound bags of popcorn and a gallon of popcorn oil stored. He had a popcorn pot. He put it on the stove and turned it up to super hot pop. Poured in a gallon of oil and 1.5 pounds of popcorn. Waited for it all to begin to boil. You know what he got? He got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Well, pretty soon there's popcorn just flying through the air. There's popcorn landing in the sink. There's popcorn in his hair. There's popcorn in the air. There's popcorn on the floor. And little Jimmy knew his mother wouldn't love him anymore. He had the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Spot, what are we gonna do? Mama isn't gonna love us anymore. He saw that popcorn 3 feet deep on the floor. Then he saw the pot begin to smoke, and he knew that he was in the middle of a bad joke. Time to turn off the popcorn. He tried, and the handle came off in his hand up around super hot pop. He knew that he couldn't stop the stove anymore, so he decided it was time to try and put the whole mess out. The only other liquid around was the other gallon of popcorn oil. He put it on and it began to boil. He got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Remembering his Cub Scout training, he remembered you could put out a fire with sand. The only thing around that looked like sand was the other 3-pound bag of popcorn. He poured it in, and pretty soon he had 5 feet of popcorn. Popcorn flying through the air, landing in his mother's geranium plant, given to him by his favorite aunt. There was popcorn in his clothes. There was even a piece up his nose. It was terrible. He had the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Spot, where are you? All he could see a Spot was a little tail wagging around on the floor underneath 3 or 4 feet of popcorn. He decided it was time to call in help, so he ran across the street after opening up the kitchen door, and he got to the firebox and he called for Spot. Spot came rolling across the street. He said, "Spot, stand there." Spot stood there. He climbed up onto Spot's back and he pulled on the firebox door down there and got on the telephone, and the fire chief came out and said, "What's the matter, kid?" "My mother doesn't love me anymore." "Why not?" "I've got the poppity popcorn." Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! "What do you mean, kid?" "Well, you see, Johnny tried to tell him what had happened. He said, "Where do you live, kid?" "In my house." "Where's that?" "On the corner." Just then, of course, the stove had caught on fire, and the stove had fallen into the basement after eating its way through the kitchen floor. And down in the basement there was a room with 400,000 pounds of popcorn and 3,000 gallons of popcorn oil. It all started on fire, of course, the stove and everything, and popcorn began to pop all over. There was 4,000 kernels of popcorn coming out of little Jimmy's chimney, going up into the stratosphere, landing all over town. Cars were stopping on the streets. Kids coming home from school couldn't believe what they were seeing. Meanwhile, Jimmy's mother down at the grocery store, she couldn't move anymore because there was 6 feet of popcorn coming down all over town. Well, the fire chief called up the mayor, and the mayor, it seems, wasn't there, so he decided to call up the governor of the state of Illinois. You see, the popcorn had landed on the railroad tracks, and 2 trains had collided. One of them was carrying a 1.5 mile long train full of popcorn from Iowa, and the other was carrying soybean oil from someplace else. They fell in a ditch, and the hydroelectric generators on the trains caught it all on fire, and of course the whole buckle of the corn belt began to blow up. It was wonderful. Planes at O'Hare Field couldn't be seen. Couldn't land. Radar didn't help any. A whole bunch of unguided missiles. We've got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Meanwhile, Jimmy was back at the telephone pole, and Spot was just eating it up. Well, the governor of the state of Illinois called out the National Guard and issued them all salt and pepper shakers and told them to eat popcorn. And they gave them shovels and told them to shovel the stuff in the back of trucks. And one of the guys asked him where they should dump it. He said Lake Michigan, but it was already too late. Lake Michigan was covered over with 3.5 feet of soggy popcorn. Captain Crunch was seen floating by, crawling out won't wilt in milk, never said popcorn. He drowned, of course. They determined later it was popcorn of the lung. You've got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Well, the governor called up the president of the United States, said, "Mr. President." The president answered. He said, "We got a problem here. We got popcorn coming down all over Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio." President said, "Well, that's a problem you'll have to handle. I like jelly beans myself." I've got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Well, the president finally called out the Army, the Navy, the National Guard, the Marines, the ladies down at the DAR, and some of the boys down at the BAR. Told them all to eat popcorn. And just then, of course, he got a call on the little red telephone on his desk. Seems that popcorn had been getting up into the jet stream and being blown all around the world. People in Moscow were opening up their mouths and pointing towards the sky, seeing U.S.-made popcorn. People in China were getting the first decent meal they'd had in 100 years. It was exceptional. You've got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Meanwhile, out in space, something out of the human race was looking down for miles and miles above the ground. One of it turned to the other of it and said, "Seat, seat," which means, "You see what I see?" And the other one said, "Seat's out," which means, "Sure do, baby, what's happening?" Whole world's turning white in less time than a day and night. Well, you want to know the end of this story, though my story's kind of gory, is that the whole world got popped. You've got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Take some popcorn, you put it in the pan, and you shake it around just as fast as you can. Put in some salt, and you pour on some oil, and you wait for it all to begin to boil. What do you got? You've got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! You got the poppity popcorn. Oh yeah! Meanwhile, Spot ate and ate and he ate and he ate until he popped.